It says D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are all in a food fight over Northrop Grumman, the mega defense contractor that wants to relocate its corporate headquarters in the Washington region. Washington Post columnist Stephen Pearlstein wrote last week that the incentives the district is offering to come here are, well, loony. What is your opinion?
Well, he's totally right. I mean, the $25 million that the district is offering to get Northrop Grumman to come here is raising lots of concerns among residents and businesses.
$19.5 million per year in property tax abatements for 10 years, a total of $19.5 million, plus $5.5 million of taxpayer dollars for relocation costs.
Exactly. Yeah. Those residents and businesses who have been here for a long time and paying our taxes year in and year out in full, we just sort of wonder, why is it fair that this mega corporation gets to come here and come off tax-free, particularly in the middle of an economic downturn when the city doesn't have enough money to provide services? This year we noticed in particular the small business community is the one that's come out. They're suffering from the recession. They've got business that's hurting, and they would like help as well. They don't see why it's fair to be helping someone like Northrop Grumman rather than smaller neighborhood businesses.
Do you think it's important to attract businesses like Northrop Grumman?
I think it's important to have an economic development strategy. I'm not clear what tracking Northrop Grumman does. I mean, if you look at, you would think that in these deals, the mayor's office or whoever's pushing it would do a detailed cost-benefit analysis, and they just haven't. There's no evidence that this is good for the city. The bill doesn't require Northrop Grumman to hire D.C. residents. The only thing that we've heard is that there might be some subcontractors who come along, but no one has estimated how many, how much business that would bring, how many jobs. Literally no estimate of the cost. If you were an investor in this project, you would say there's not enough information.
I did talk to Councilmember Jack Evans' office, and of course he's the one promoting it as Finance and Revenue Chairman. And he said a couple of things he said in defense of it. So I'll just recite them. One is he said that the company would go, if it were to choose the city, which is some people think unlikely in any event, but if it were to choose, it would go to property that that is drawing zero tax dollars for the city. So you would you would put a company on a spot where no money is being earned in taxes, and put a major corporation there.
Who still wouldn't be paying any taxes.
Wouldn't be
for 10
paying any
years.
tax for 10 years. But then you would have established a major corporation there, which they would then start paying some taxes. So that's just one thing.
And that 10 years down the road, we'll
yes, but he said, but right
revenue.
now the land is generating zero tax dollars now with nothing on it. So you generate zero tax dollars for 10 years. Meanwhile, you have established company like Northrop Grumman company. That's one thing he said.
But there's nothing wrong with developing city property and trying to get it full. But the question is, is
I'm
it
just
going
to go through his reasonings
Yeah,
as why he
okay.
said, so you can give you a chance to answer them.
Sure.
The other ones, he says that in Los Angeles, where Northrop Grumman is located now, it does something like $15 million in local community charitable donations and gifts and whatever. I don't know that to be true, but that's what he said. So, and he said if they were in the city, they would enhance the cultural and social service issues, all the issues that you're actually worried about, by some of their gift giving here, as opposed to Maryland or Virginia if they were in the suburbs.
Those are. I think this problem for me here is that the cost of this, $25 million, are very clear. It's what the district would have to pay out, and the benefits are all pretty squishy. It's not. There's no commitment required of Northrop Grumman to do any charitable giving in the district,
of course.
and no sense that they would necessarily focus on D.C. proper. So I feel like we don't have enough information. If Northrop Grumman would say we plan to give $5 million to district nonprofits every year in return for this tax abatement, it would be a very
Something
different
like
story.
that.
But they haven't.
Okay, all right, that's a good point there. And the other thing is, he says just the city has, of the top 100 firms in the country, maybe it's the top 400 of the ones that are located in the district, there are none. And he says if you want to have a business development plan that you just suggested, that one thing to do is to have major corporations in town who could build on that.
But I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, we don't. I think this points out that we don't really have an economic development strategy. Just having a Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 company in the city doesn't necessarily do anything other than saying we have a Fortune 100 company in the city.
Well, okay.
See, we got this email from Keith who said there is nothing to show that Northrop Grumman will add anything to the area except more traffic.
Well,
You share that
wouldn't
sentiment?
even be
I
much
did.
traffic.
I don't know, Keith. I'm not the one who asked him to send that email in.
But you do support that sentiment.
Well, it's not. You're not concerned it's going to create more traffic in the city.
Well-
Southwest Washington could use more traffic, incidentally.
I think if you're, we always want to have more jobs in the city, so
Yeah.
and then deal with the transportation after that. I do want to
You
point out
just want
that,
Northrop Grumman to step up and do something in exchange for the favorable treatment it gets. That's pretty much.
well, that would
that
be
would
part
be-
of the story, but I just think there is a general problem if states are competing against each other and giving away tax subsidies, then that puts the businesses in this really favorable position. They decide where they want to go, what market is right for them, and then they pit the neighboring jurisdictions against them to see what's the best deal they can get. And in the end, the
That's
city,
called American business.
yeah, but in the end, the city or this county or the state that wins is actually the loser because they've lost a lot of revenue without necessarily gaining somebody who wouldn't have come anyway.
And
Because
one thing they would-
businesses only go to jurisdictions that are going to be good for their business.
And one thing
anyway.
this Northrop Grumman thing would do is that even if when it starts paying corporate taxes, it would only pay the Virginia rate, not the city rate, which is too high.
Right.